All right, I went inside to do a little video with Walter on the fire extinguishers, and these guys are insane. They've already got all the vegetation out of here. It looks a zillion times better. And I've got my gloves. I'm going to suit up and get in there with them. Hi, I'm Janie. Welcome back to the League-Kempner House here in Galveston. When last we left, Ricardo and his crew were down in the basement putting up that temporary beam and getting the house level. It's hard work down in the basement. It's dark and it's dreary, and Maribel and I were kind of in the way at one point once they moved over to that tiny space in the chauffeur's quarters to work on the bathroom. So we headed outside to do a little cleanup in the yard. And if you remember from the It's a Jungle Out There video, this yard was a mess. You could not even walk through it. And we got 95% of it cleared, but we still have a few pockets that were missed. So she and I started tackling this corner that's been a problem. There's a giant hole. Joe found a homeless person encamped back here one time. So we decided it needed to be cleaned. But the guys kind of wondered where we were, and one by one they wandered out and started pitching in. It was a beautiful day, and it was just nice to be outside. So we ended up having a lot of fun. We spent about an hour back here and got the whole area cleaned. And they're so quick, I didn't even get to take a before picture. But I love these guys. And that was the end of that work day. And then we started on just a lot of miscellaneous work that needs to be done. We are really under the gun for the steampunk event, a big fundraiser for us in April, and I am laser focused on getting the bathrooms done downstairs and cleaning up the basement area in case it rains and we need to move some activities indoors. So we have a lot going on. Heather's coming in. There were tours going on. Joe was there. Just a lot of activity over the next few days.
Okay, we're in the basement.
I'm in the basement. I'm doing one of the many fun, glamorous jobs. I'm sorting the, you know what, treasures that accumulate down here. We tend to throw stuff over here to get it out of the way.
Back up and show what's over here. Hold on.
I don't know if you can see, but now that we've got concrete floors, we'll start putting our walls up, and then the plumber's coming in. So I already took all the plumbing fittings upstairs. So now I'm collecting all the leftover pipe we have. And that big pile of stuff is the beadboard that came off the walls down here. So now that we have the wall layout, I know how many linear feet of wall we have. I need to get that out and sort it and figure out how many linear feet of beadboard we have that we can put back up, so I can determine which walls are going to get the beadboard. And it was already culled through once and the nails pulled, but there's all different lengths in there. So I need to sort now that we have room and get that sorted and cleaned up. So, and then I'm putting dump stuff over here because we take that plywood off the window there, and I can just...
What? That's some good stuff.
No, wait. That's not. Stay out of there. Get out of there. Get out.
I'll look later.
Pull that. No.
When she goes upstairs.
No. So we can pull the truck up there and just load it out the window.
Where are you going to put your sinks?
The sink. One of them is going to go upstairs and be a mop sink. The other two may get mounted over here under the stairwell just for display, like to put
that would be fun.
T-shirts or stuff in the store. But one of them we will use as our utility sink upstairs if we can get them up there, because
you should mount them like they were mounted here with the faucets and everything, and then use them for display.
That's a bedroom.
I know, but I don't mean here. I mean when you remount them over there.
Yeah, but that can't come off the wall. That's
no, but you should recreate it.
That'll be a decorative element in the bedroom.
That'll be a coat rack in the bedroom.
Somebody will have decorative faucets in their bedroom wall. So anyway, this was going to take a while, so I'm just picking my way through. I'm a little worried. I don't want volunteers down here.
In case it collapses?
Because this thing, I think it's leaning that way, but as you start pulling stuff off, I want to make sure it's stable and not going to collapse this way. So I'm going to do it first.
And there's probably a possum in there living there.
And there's probably a possum and maybe a coyote in there. So we'll see what we find. So the other thing I'm trying to get freed up, which I'm almost there, is this.
Pull it behind the pillar where I can't see it.
It's very noisy. Hold on, I'm dragging it out.
Ah!
This is
Okay, this is how you know we don't plan this.
This is the eyebrow arch that came off of the peaky part of the roof on the front porch. And it already went to the sheet metal shop once and got repaired. I may have seen that in an earlier video. They cut the ends off of it and put some new ends on it. It was pretty corroded like this and super flimsy. And then this goes on top of it. Goes like that, and this has to be cut and bent over and welded on the back side, but that makes the arch. So when we get the roof done with the money we got from the Kempner Fund, we need this finished so they're going to put it back up there. It's not really a vent, it's just a decorative element on the roof. So anyway, there's stuff down here. McNatt is here dropping off our window frames. They're ready to put them in, but we're not ready for them, so they're getting them out of the shop to make room for another project that they have. So at least they will be on premise. Looks like they're going to go around and go in the front door. And it is another gorgeous day. Now, John mentioned something about priming them all the way around. Should I go ahead and prime the
like the back sides?
The back sides?
Could, if you'd like to.
Okay.
I mean, ideally,
they look big.
Right?
They look huge. So Ben's here. They dropped off the frames and they're just doing a quick look at the sashes, but he was showing me a couple of spots where we're gonna have to glue. And you had a funny story about glue.
Yeah, a little glue. Yeah, a little glue goes a long way. Before I was started in carpentry, though, my dad or other people would always tell me glue something with wood glue, and I thought it was useless because I would try to just stick stuff together with wood glue and it wouldn't stay. Well, it turns out you need to clamp it. Nobody ever let me in on that little key. Clamp it and let it sit.
So people always say, how do you know how to do all this stuff? And I'm like, you learn by doing it wrong.
Exactly.
You learn by being old
Yeah.
and just trial and error. But now people have YouTube they can watch. So here's another one that we'll glue and clamp on.
And that's sitting out like, in the, little scraps I would find sitting out in the garage. And my dad would say, don't use any of the tools. He didn't want me using power tools or something without somebody watching. And so I'd sit out there with a little coping saw or a little hand saw, cutting the little things out, trying to put them together.
Yeah.
So, you learn a lot from doing something and not working.
Not working. But we're close. So hopefully in a couple weeks I'll have all these done and
Beautiful
you guys
windows.
can come back and this will be done.
Next time.
Wow, looks a little different than mine.
Let's compare the two.
You can just, yeah.
Oh, it makes us look like slackers.
Well, we're not slackers.
Well, it's got a little primer on it too. The primer goes a long way, Little paint, little primer.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Give me another 2 days. This guy will be done. Joe has to go pet it.
Well, you don't even notice on this one, because we just put the glass in that long ago, that the glazing is still, it has quite stained over, yeah.
Don't stick your finger at it.
I did. Here, smooth it back out. Okay.
I found Heather and our volunteer Walter down in the chauffeur's quarters introducing themselves. And I thought it's a nice clip for you guys to meet a couple of our volunteers in person too.
You know, I was always one of those people that said, hey, come help me pick out my house paint colors, or can you help me pick out this sofa or whatever, even whenever I was young. I don't know why. And then I bought I think the jump stars, I bought a condo when I was 23, like right after I got out of college, and it looked like 1980. So I learned how to tile, I learned how to paint, I learned about electrical, I learned all that stuff.
Without YouTube to help you.
Yes, correct. Like from tradespeople and stuff, I learned all that because that would have been about 1997. And then after that, I still just worked corporate because that's what you do. So I worked for Enron.
But in your spare time, did you do any artistic endeavors?
I took classes and things like that in my spare time. And
just typical with oil, watercolor?
No, not fine art. I took all decorative art.
All decorative art?
Yes, stuff. And then I went around the country and took classes from other instructors and things like that. I had started doing that, and then I got laid off from Enron, and
Enron.
And so that more or less forced me to start my business because we kind of wore that scarlet letter of Enron. Nobody would hire us, right? So anyway, that's how I got started. And in about 23 years, I've been doing this as my profession. I've also branched off recently, the last 2 or 3 years, into doing contracting for other people. Like I've built out from studs, like built out spaces, or I'm doing this. Look, I had a house down here in Galveston in 1883 that it took about 5 years to rehab or restore, because I restored it pretty much original, as much as I didn't even add closets. It had no closets in it. I didn't even add them. I just used beautiful armoires and just made it work. But we ended up selling it, and I was watching videos of Janie, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much work, and I'm feeling so bad for her. That's so hard. I'm like, maybe I should call her because I don't have my house anymore. I'll just call her and ask her if she wants somebody to come and help her sometimes. And that's how that happened, because I wanted to kind of just keep my foot into the old house world, because new house stuff is, in some level, it's a little bit boring. I kind of like the challenges of this, to be honest with you. That's sort of my background story. Okay. So, what about you? What's your?
The reason I moved down here in '91 was to restore a little shotgun on Winnie and 25th.
Oh gosh, my house was on Winnie too. How cool! All right.
And in fact, there were two houses together. There were Sears house.
Oh right, sure, the kid houses.
And they were purchased together. Mm-hmm. And then I got off into landscaping and small contracting, and then went back into work in the corporate world and doing insurance inspections. So I just happened to be doing inspection on this. She purchased some liability insurance. That was the first year.
We need liability insurance.
Absolutely.
And really didn't think anything more about it. And then I got a year later, or 2 years later, a work order to re-inspect it. Or the subject came up that it was now a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And so I just happened to ask, I said, well, you're all looking for volunteers.
And then I hugged him and kissed him.
Right,
So we needed volunteers.
Yes.
It worked out for the League-Kempner House.
So well, that's cool.
Okay, it is 11:30 and I'm already so behind for the day. I abandoned Heather down here because we had a lot of activity. We had the Galveston County Division of the Historical Preservation, Texas Historical Preservation, that are the first step of getting our historical marker, and so she was touring and I just left Heather down here. I did come help her flip this over, but our goal is to prime it and get it cleaned up, and we're priming the underside because of humidity down here. Plywood soaks up so much, that's not good, trash. Plywood soaks up so much moisture that it's better to prime with oil-based primer everything for mildew purposes, and then probably come put a leftover paint coat of latex on it, because latex is actually better at keeping mildew from taking hold So this will keep it from absorbing water. The latex will help stop the mildew. So we're just doing the back end of this to get it ready.
Yes, we are.
And I say we, again, Heather's been down here by her little self.
But you know what I've mostly been doing is like hunting stuff.
Hunting and
Hunting a
cleaning,
hammer, hunting a
and we
stirrup
did
stick,
kind of tour.
Hunting a roller and
Roller.
a handle and a. I think I've already walked my 10,000 steps today, running around the house hunting for stuff, hunting for primer. You name
Which
it.
we found, which I wasn't
Which we
sure.
did. This one's good. We just need to
So,
stir it up.
we
really
stirred
good.
up. Actually, I
I
had
found
that
this in
because
the
I was
butler's
priming
pantry.
the fascia boards with that when we had the big lift, and I
this
could
is-
get up.
This is a really good primer. This
So
is that
this is-
Kills.
This is the Kills. It's
it's the
oil
original.
based, the original.
This is a good stuff.
It's stinky, but
Well,
it's,
this is it's the low odor one.
yeah,
But we'll
but
still be high later
we'll
after.
be high. We'll be.
I'm
We'll have
teasing.
headaches later.
Yeah, I might. I don't know. Hopefully not. It's pretty ventilated in here. I doubt it.
Yeah. So anyway, she's gonna stir. And when she's done stirring, we'll come back and paint. I don't know if they had polyurethane when this was done, but some kind of old lacquer, but it really comes off. Like it's very brittle. Like it doesn't take much. But this is not that. Okay, I had to go have a wardrobe change.
Oh, good. We matched. Look, we're Boxy twins today. All right.
Because it
League-Kempner
is,
House shirts
it
on.
is like very warm today.
It's a little humid in here down here in this basement. This way. Hey, listen, that thing doesn't have a fuzzy end on it, so if you cut in down here, you just scrape the paint, so you'll have to rock it back and
Because
forth.
it's from the dollar store and it costs 33 cents.
Well, I know, that's why.
I love them because you just
But I like them with the fuzzy
use it
end on
and
it.
throw it away.
And that one doesn't have a fuzzy on it. When you get near here, you can't just cut with that, you'll just have to kind of rock it back like that.
cutting in.
Well, yeah, but I
Yeah,
used,
cutter in
I
there.
used the roller for, I used the roller for what all I did right there, so you can fill in the middle fill in the big middle.
I think I
Do
like
the-
the smell of the old stinky one better. This kind of smells like
It's a little weird.
musty.
It's, yeah, well, it's, yeah.
But I was talking to somebody, so back to why we do this. So our house in Harvey, we were under this much water. Our kitchen
Yes.
cabinets, we drilled holes under them, flushed them with clean water, and everything just dried perfect, didn't have to be replaced. But if you have bare wood, the plywood absorbs the water
Yes.
and it ruins. So I always prime everything, at least with an oil-based primer, because it really can help it stand up and resist taking in so much water. And I don't know that this is, this probably had water in it, didn't I?
Oh, I imagine it did. I mean, like,
imagine it did.
Island mostly had like about 8 feet of water everywhere. And you
Yeah.
go downtown and you can see all the signs.
But, so we can't do anything about that, but just normal, everyday 5-10 inch flooding won't get in this part of the basement, and that's why we're not doing floors or anything fancy. Because you have to be able to rip it out. You might be wondering why this cabinet is on our to-do list when we're frantically working on getting ready for steampunk, but when the plumber does the plumbing for our toilets, we might be able to connect this cabinet and get some running water in a sink, which would be great, because right now we have to traipse outside and use the garden hose for any kind of water needs in the house. So this would be a really nice addition, not just for the steampunk event, but just day-to-day work in the house. It just makes it cleaner too. This thing is probably 80, 85 years old, something like that.
Do you think that's when they did it? Maybe
I
the
think probably the
40s?
40s, early
50s? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So at least 70 years old.
All right, now you can have that. Actually, let me cut in this bottom because you don't want to get your roller down here. That's why I did this. I can do this, and then you can get the roller after.
Got some old wood funk.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've got it where you can just safely use that roller without touching things.
Wait, let me get.
Don't want to. Okay, and then we'll go to the other side. Do the same thing.
Yeah, I think we're using this on a moment too soon. It's got chunks in it.
Pick the chunks out.
Well, it doesn't matter on this. Well, it does matter. Okay, this is so crazy. So since my foot, and I haven't been doing much, I noticed my grandkids were over this weekend, that when I'm down on the floor, it's harder for me to stand up.
Really?
Because my muscles have atrophied from
Yes.
sitting on my keister for 3 months.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have
That sucks.
to get busy and do some
Well-
leg workout.
I think because now this is springtime and stuff's gonna kick up a lot heavier around here, you'll probably get it back in no time. All right, this is ready. Now, if you want, we can go over there and get the cabinet piece out.
Let's do it, because while we've got this, we ought to get the drawers down and wipe those out real well and go ahead and get a coat primer on those. Oh, you keep taking my leg.
Oh, sorry. Because I need to dip in it.
I need to get, okay,
You need to dip.
You can have it.
That's okay, I don't need it right now because I'm gonna get those drawers down.
Oh, you know what we should do? This will be a nice white
Serious clean.
spot over here. When it dries, we should get a Sharpie and write a little message in it.
Okay, I think I might be too short to reach those. I'm too short, I can't reach those. That's gonna be, you've got a couple more inches on me, that's it for you. You can dust with that, and then I'm gonna go dampen this, and then we'll wipe them with the damp.
Done by Margie and Sandra, the volunteers who took the contact paper out. Oh, way back last spring, I think. So we might as well get a coat of primer on them. We've got to brush and roller out. These drawers were absolutely filthy, like everything seems to get down here. We'll be so glad when the windows are closed up and this basement is clean once and for all.
Okay. Get the rest of this. I mean, a tiny bit of dust isn't gonna kill anything here, as long as you get like 95% of it, was my goal. Primer.
Well, the primer will just stick it to the drawer.
That's right. But I mean, these are pretty nasty, no doubt.
They are gross.
They're pretty nasty. Okay, and then do you want to wrestle
Yeah, let's go
that out of there?
Or rassle.
Wrestle.
Rassle it out.
That's what my granddad used to say, wrestle. Wrestle it. Do some wrestling.
That's the hard part of doing these videos, is you hear yourself talk, and then it's like, okay, I've digressed into my native speech.
And then here's the pretty
Okay.
porcelain sink.
You know, it may come through, and I don't know if the handles will come through.
There's a nail. There's nails on the back. Got it. Yay! You know how I moved it? I hold onto the cup hooks right here.
Take those off.
Yeah.
That is our.
Whoa.
Should we clean
Oh,
it and do
it's
it?
resting on some, it's got like, what is it, lights or something under it? What is it?
Okay, let's sweep this and lay it on its back.
A lot less dirt and dust out here. But right now, I think it's just cleaning up the,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's the weird lighting that's got to come off.
Back way, back way.
Oh, I just unplugged it.
Myself in the-
Because it just unplugged. We'll have to pry that out of there. Oh yeah, we got lots of nails sticking down off the back, lower back too. Down.
Do you have something to grab on you? Okay, watch your hand.
I like this down a little bit better too. It looks a bit better.
You can just pick it up and go that way.
Right. I don't have anything to grab onto back here.
I can lift it.
Oh,
You
you.
can leave your hand down. I'm gonna lift.
Okay, I got it.
All right, I'm gonna lift.
Okay, I'm gonna do like the body lift.
The cabinet had a lot of condition issues, and we were looking at pulling nails and cleaning it up and doing some things. And right in the middle of it, there was a delivery of some lumber. So it's projected to rain in the next couple of days. So Heather and I decided to stop and rearrange the basement and bring in the new lumber. And what we have piled up here is all treated, which we use anywhere the lumber touches the floor or a brick wall or anything stuccoed because of moisture issues. And what's being delivered is just regular lumber that we're putting up as the studs. So we needed to segregate the two, so we had to move this pile before we could move the other pile in. Working on a project like this, you get in a lot of steps. When I do remember to wear my Fitbit down here, it's not uncommon to get 15 or 20,000 steps. I've had as high as 30,000 steps in one day just from walking around and working. Today was going to be no exception to that. Into the light. It is really dirty. Oh, there's one more catch on it here.
What is it? Oh, we missed one.
The little brass.
Oh, yeah, we sure did.
Yeah.
Missed one. Okay, well, we'll bring all the tools out.
Do you want me to take the back? I can take that back off. I think it'll be easier to paint.
I think it would be.
So let me go get the big hammer and knock that out. We decided we didn't need the plywood backing on the cabinet. It was damaged and a little bit wonky, and when we build out that wall in the chauffeur's quarters, there'll be studs up against the stuccoed wall and then green board sheetrock for moisture. So it was better to just remove the back and leave the back open, and the sheetrock will show through. It'll make for a nicer, cleaner look once this thing is hung. And it's actually pretty sturdy and in good shape. It has a ton of cup hooks and other things screwed on it, but it's built very well, and the plywood on the face and the shelves is in great shape. So it just needs a lot of cleaning and sanding and priming. This is not what we plan to do today, but that's how things go. Once you get started, sometimes it's hard to stop. And it was nice outside, so it made sense to do it outside. The sanding does kick up some dust, and it's easier to do it when it's in a very ventilated, breezy area like it was outside today. Since we'd already gone this far with the project, Heather went in and found the doors to the cabinet, so we had to take off all that hardware and get those sanded. We kind of tag teamed back and forth since we only had one sander, and you do have to push down pretty hard, and the cabinet's a little awkward to work with, so we ended up turning it end over end so that we could always be standing where possible and not bending over, and having a horizontal surface to sand on. So it took quite a bit of time, but between the two of us, we were able to get everything done. We were really excited to be able to reuse this cabinet down in the chauffeur's quarters in the kitchen. I worked really hard trying to design a way to reuse this cabinet for many reasons. One, I just hate waste. Two, it is very old. As we talked about earlier in the video, this cabinet could be 70 years old or more, and it is part of the history of the house. And then there's just the cost aspect of it. Cabinet grade plywood today can run as high as $90 for good birch plywood. Then there's all the labor to build new cabinets. This already has the stainless sink top on it, and I think I looked that up for another video. Those can run anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000, and it's a really cool feature to have. So reusing this saves a lot of money, which is something we try to be very careful in this house because every penny counts, and there's so much other work to be done. So this will be a fun thing to have, and it's very cost effective and environmentally friendly to reuse. And in other news, Joe is still scraping.
I'm still at it. I'm on my third
She's
razor
having so
blade.
much fun.
I am. I'm on my third razor blade. They last
Wax
about-
on, wax off.
They last about a day before I have to change them out.
And she still has to come back and do the grout lines.
I'm gonna get a little skinny wire brush, I think, like a toothbrush size wire brush for the grout. It won't be nearly as much instantaneous gratification.
No.
But look how pretty all this is done.
This looks nice. And it's a lot of stuff. When you sweep it up, it makes a pretty good
it's a
sized
huge
pile.
Even the ones that look like they don't have much on them after you scrape them, it's a lot.
I saw in the earlier video, I tried soaking with hot water and ammonia and all kinds of different cleaners. And we decided cold weather and a scraper.
Everybody that's come in here has said, "Isn't there a chemical you can?"
No,
I'm like, nope,
we've tried them all.
There is not.
We've tried them all. Look how
this
much.
This is just a couple of rows.
That is all wax buildup. It is very shiny. and pretty in
It's
person.
like and sparkly. It's like glitter. Yeah. That's just from this little area right here.
Maybe 30 tiles. Look how much gunk. Okay, we are rushing to get out. I'm getting in. Heather is rolling, and Joe is locking up the house because it's already been a long day and it's not that late.
What time is it?
It's only 3:10.
Wow, you did good today.
But we started at 7, so we're,
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Look
I got
good.
here at 9:30 maybe.
yeah. But we've been going nonstop since we
Yes.
got here, so. And we try to get out before 4 to beat the traffic in Houston. So Heather has a long way to drive like Joe and I do. So I'm going to put the camera down and get to cutting in.
All right, we're almost clear on these. This feels so much nicer to get these dust and white.
You realize we're just like filming your rear the whole time.
Sorry. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
We
Sorry.
will edit
I'm
through
just
that. We
working.
will edit through.
Edit me out.
Heather's lost 10 pounds. Okay, some people came.
I lost more than that.
Some people came Wednesday, and the lady kept saying, "You're so much smaller in person than you seem on the video." And all I can think of was they say, "Oh, the camera adds 15 pounds."
10 or 15, it does. I know.
But you're so small. I'm like, could you say that on camera?
Say what on
The
camera?
lady that kept saying yesterday from Kansas City, she goes, "I just can't get over how much smaller you are in person than you are on the video." And all I could think of was the camera adds 15 pounds. I'm like, are you talking about my height or my butt? Or what specifically are you talking about?
No kidding, right?